Hello and welcome to this week's episode of the Nick, John, and Jamie Show. I am John.
I am Nick.
Nicholas, we pulled it off again. We got another week.
Fist bump.
Fist bump.
There we go. We're together.
A very sanitized fist bump, given the circumstances. But we've managed to pull off another week in the basement because there's a little bit of trust going on, knowing that we're not acting like assholes without masks on. And
well, we are sanitizing ourselves with a lot of alcohol, so we're good.
True. That's true. My my liver is most sanitized. But speaking of, that's a great segue.
Yeah, there it is.
What we're drinking this week, and believe me, there is a bit of a disclaimer because I do have a bias. My wife works for.
No, you don't. This is we're getting paid for this.
Should I not? But what if I get called out and there might be some nepotism, some little behind the scenes dirtiness that pulls me out onto the carpet?
Do you really think that's going to happen? Then?
No.
Yeah, exactly. So happen.
So we're drinking Workhorse. Workhorse is a brewery out of King of Prussia.
Dude, it's a shame you don't have a little glass. I would love to try that.
Dude, how about I do this? I'll pour into my glass.
Oh yeah, leave a little,
and then I'll give you the can.
Leave a little sip for me because I haven't tried that one.
So this is Workhorse, and it's a brewery out of Montgomery County, out of King of Prussia. My wife does work for them, so at the very least, I'll put that little disclaimer out there. But genuinely, they do a really good beer. And hopefully I didn't sell you too short on that taste, Nick. It's nice, right?
It's not bad.
That's the New England. They do.
No, this is the West Coast.
I mean, sorry, the West
did
Coast.
It again.
I know, I keep confusing the two. But it's the West Coast IPA. It is, filtered like a West Coast. It's
7% ABV.
Yep, 7%. And it's just a nice, solid beer.
Well, I would think of, if you're looking for a beer, Sip of Sunshine, a touch below.
Oh, that's a good call. Good comparison.
Touch below Sip.
Yeah, just a hair.
Yeah. I mean, Sip's better.
There's something very citrusy about Sip. Not citrusy, but I'm not going to get too much into up my own ass about tasting beer, but I will say that I definitely enjoyed their West Coast, their East Coast, or actually, their New England, their West Coast. And what you're drinking.
What is this? Is
you're drinking the Workhorse.
Yeah, they're original, right?
Well, it's Workhorse, but then they're doing this special brew called the Workforce, and that's an IPA.
This is the Workforce.
Yeah, Workhorse does Workforce.
Yeah, yeah, it's good. It's delicious,
and that is awesome beer.
That is an awesome beer for around here. I would give it if I was rating Beer Advocate, like a 94. Yeah,
and I hear you, man. And they're doing this is actually their tribute beer. It says this beer is brewed to support our friends in the restaurant industry. $1 from every 4-pack sold will be donated to the Restaurant Workers Community Foundation, which is awesome. They brewed a special beer, and they're actually contributing back into the now decimated restaurant industry because of COVID-19.
Oh my God, that's fantastic!
Right, and it's a good beer.
And you know what? And that says a lot about their company because they've probably had some losses themselves. So
yeah, everybody's had to adjust,
and that's what I mean. It's like this time should be about helping other people, not just helping yourself.
Amen, brother. Amen.
If everybody does that and not tries to fight with each other about wherever they stand, and just realize we're all going through this together. It's not like the guy down the street's dealing with anything less than what we're dealing with, in the sense of we got to go out, wear a mask. Yeah. We got to go out and support different small businesses. So, and I just want to say in my little speech that I think everybody should just be courteous to everyone, and just try to support everybody in any way they can.
That's beautifully said, man. I think that's exactly the heart of the matter. Whatever side of the spectrum you lie on, as far as COVID or everything that's very topical in conversation these days, that if you all those things aside, say none of this none of this was happening, say we didn't have such a controversial presidential election coming up, we didn't have COVID-19 happening, we didn't have this sort of kicking the balls of our economy, all those things set aside, as a rule of thumb, be kind.
Exactly. I mean, we don't want to get all political, and we're not trying to. I just feel like it's nice that Workhorse, even though they're going through some financial difficulties, they're still trying to find a way to help other people. And I'd like to believe that the majority of people out there want to do the same.
Exactly. And they're to give the company a credit, they managed to pivot and really strategically, make it happen. Granted, there's restrictions with having people in a brewery. There's restrictions with congregation of people, within a certain amount with social distancing and the amount of people you can have in enclosed spaces. All that considered, they're actually doing fairly well during this time, and just support. I mean, the fact that, to your point, that they're actually giving back, even though they're probably not at their peak like most companies are, is a testament to that kindness that we were just talking about.
And I think if companies really be honest with themselves, I'm just talking about all companies in general, not that I'm an executive. I'm not. I'm just a regular guy, just like anybody else that listens to our show. If they look at the future, I'd like to believe that the companies that really see that giving back at a time of need, even though you're hurting, will probably benefit you so much more in the future.
I agree. I mean, call it karma, call it whatever you want to call it. I think that you put yourself in a situation of giving and being kind and considerate to other people. I in my heart of hearts think that gets reciprocated. Call it the universe paying you back, whatever the fuck you want to call it. I'm sorry, I dropped an F-bomb. Whatever you want to call it.
That's my deal, bro.
I know, I'm taking your thunder. Whatever you want to call it, it's good stuff.
I just think a smile helps helps bring on another smile. It's the same kind of thing. It's, people want to be treated fairly and respectfully, and we're all going through a tough time, and that's all you can ask.
I agree. Let's
get back to our show, though.
Yes. So we're drinking tasty beers, but let's move on to the heart of the matter, which is what we're watching. You turned me on. I was actually going to shy away from this show.
Why? I want to know why before we dive in.
Because I thought we're talking about Hanna, right? It's because
the dad wasn't going to be in it anymore.
Well, Joel Kinnaman was a big part of that. He's a fantastic actor. We loved him in Altered Carbon.
Altered Carbon. He was fantastic in that.
He was good in Suicide Squad as Flag. I mean,
I didn't watch that.
I think it was Flag. It wasn't a great movie, but he was good in it.
No, he was good in Killer or something like that, or he did a movie, a series of with the woman that's in this movie, the show.
Oh yeah, she had like a shaved head. Wait.
Look up shows that he's been in.
Go ahead. Keep talking about it.
And he did a show with the lady that's in this, in Hanna. If you guys watch the first season, I'm going to give you... The Killing. Right.
Yes.
He played a crackhead cop. You know what I mean?
Oh, is that that was his role?
He was like, kind of like a junkie cop, or maybe a drunk cop. And she was like a hard ass. And they were they got put together, and they got put on this case that they had to solve, and they just went through it together. And he was fantastic as a douchebag.
Really?
But he was endearing because he really did have a good heart, but he was still a douchebag. And how many people we know growing up, we always had those friends. And you might be that guy.
Yeah.
And maybe you turn your life around, but there was always that one guy that you knew was a good person, but just kept fucking landing on the wrong.
Couldn't get a break.
And I got the F-bomb in there. It's my one time for the night. I got to put my money in the cookie jar.
We went over one F-bomb. That blows our PG-13 rating.
Yeah, right. Anyway, the show was really, first season of The Killing was so good. Second season kind of fell off. But the point was, he's he's a really phenomenal actor. He has a lot of range in what he acts in. Like in The Killing, he was a skinny deadbeat cop. This one, the first season of Hanna, he was a dad that was kind of part of the CIA, but he was all jacked and knew his shit.
Yeah.
You know, was very
hardcore, like special forces did.
Exactly. You know what I mean? And he died off in the first one. And, you know, I could see how that would turn people away, like you, because you're a fan of his. And he probably was Hannah's the main character in the first one, but if you had a 1A, that would have been him.
Yeah, and just to be clear, I enjoyed the first season. I just didn't feel like it was one of those things. Like, we have The Boys coming up, hopefully this year.
Yeah, no, it is at the end of this month.
Yeah, and that's right. And I'm like, scratching at the door, man. I am stoked. When this came and they were like season 2 of Hanna, I was like, okay, it's on my radar, but I'm not the same fervor.
And that's how I was. But I was like, the other night, I knew it came out on Friday, and I'm like, my wife went to bed early one night, and I'm like, nah, just put it on, and, you know, you're swiping your phone while it's on, and you're doing your thing, and I'm like, then I remembered why I liked the show. And I'm like, wow. I put my phone down, and I zoomed through 8 episodes in 2 days.
No shit.
And I was just, it got me. I mean, it really got me, because there's things that surprised me, and then it really sped up at the end. I mean, yeah, we'll get into this as we go along, but the first 5 episodes kind of like, they're not bad, but they're not like, oh my God, grabbing you. But the last 3 just, it's all bing, bang, 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 bang.
So that's funny you said that, because you said, you know, are you watching Hanna? You and I were texting.
Yeah.
And I was like, yo, this is something that if you keep suggesting stuff to me, and I feel like I'm placating you by saying, I'll watch it, and then I never freaking watch it.
You both do that. You and damn Jamie. I swear, I'm like, dude, check it out. It's not bad. No. You know what I mean? You're like, oh, yeah, I'll do it. I feel like that you guys just don't have the same taste as me. But in the same respect, I don't always check out everything you guys do.
That's true. There's only so many hours in a day. So I was like, you know what? For Nick, I'm going to watch this. I'm not going to do that bullshit that I've done before, and I'm going to actually watch it. and so that's
you admit it.
I admit it wholeheartedly. But I'm genuinely, just to make sure the record's straight, I am sincere when I say I'll check it out, because I do respect your opinion.
Okay.
And then I don't know, I flake.
Well, you're not invested. I mean, I get it.
I think that's it.
Because I've been there. It's like somebody suggests a show, and I'm like, oh, that looks good.
Yeah.
I get it. And then you're like, I got this going on. I got that going on. Do I really want to sit down for this?
Yeah.
I know Nick knows this. I got to go do something else. I'll get back to it later. You never get back to it.
That's exactly right. That is exactly right. So, I invested. I watched. I binged. That
doesn't mean you're a fucker.
So I invested, and I started binging because I took the day off, and started. And today's the 6th of July, by the way. Invested, started watching, and I burned through 5 episodes, and they're about 50 minutes to an hour each, and I'm in.
Yeah,
I'm absolutely in. It's
not bad. It's not bad. The first 3 are really good.
Yeah.
The action really starts to...
Which is funny, because I'm on episode... I just finished 5, and there's 3 more to go.
That's where really... Last night, I was on episode 5, and I'm like, I'll do 1 more.
Yeah.
And once I get past 6, I'm like...
Yeah.
I was like, you know what? I'm at the home stretch. I got to do it. And, you know, the only thing I will say is I'm not going to ruin anything for you. It ended good. I thought it could have ended better.
Okay.
But it was good. It was really, really good.
Did it do that thing where they end a series and they end it kind of crappy because they want to potentially leave the door open to another?
Oh, yeah. That's exactly what they did.
Yeah. Yeah, that bugs me sometimes.
And that's what bugged me. I'm like, I wish you watched the whole thing, because I would like to explain that part.
Yeah. No spoilers.
It was good, but it was just... I can explain. I can say what Hanna says at the last scene. She says, "What do we do now?" And when you watch it, you'll understand what I mean. Because it's just like, okay.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking there's going to be something else after that, and there's not.
Yeah.
And I get it why they did it, because they wanted to carry on.
Yeah.
Because it's a good series. I think it should. Do I think it's one of my top 10 I've ever watched in the last couple of years? No. Top 20 maybe. Yeah, I'm digging it like that.
I'm surprised how much mileage they've gotten out of this property, right? You know, because the original, I think, was done in 2011, right? And that was with
the
source.
movie?
Yeah, the movie. So it's Cersei.
Yeah, it always comes up on my search when I never looked on it, though.
Yeah, and it was good. It was legit. I mean, I saw the movie and I thought it was done really well. Obviously, it has some type of following because now they got 2 seasons of a series. And I just wondered how they were going to play it out. It definitely has a little bit of that Black Widow type of feel. You know, you're going to condition young women to
get to a point you're going to almost feel like the girl with the spider tattoo,
dragon tattoo.
There's a moment where you're like, okay,
yeah, exactly. And so, again, entertaining. Where I am so far, I'm glad you're telling me the last of the episodes. Pick it up.
I almost feel like a Bourne. It almost feels like a Bourne.
In which way?
A Bourne Supremacy?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay, I see.
But as a young girl, being trained her whole life?
Yes. And they're like a little bit of these like Manchurian candidates where they're almost, because he mentions, and a little bit of a spoiler, Dermot Mulroney's in it, and you know, Dirty Steve from
he's great.
You know,
he's a
from
good
Young
actor.
Guns. That's how I always see him, though. He is Dirty Steve from Young Guns.
I see him
hanging with
from
Rudaball.
The Wedding. I remember him from The Wedding Date, because it's one of my wife's favorite movies.
Yeah, no, that's right. That's right.
But I remember Dirty Steve. He's been in a lot, dude. He's been in a lot. He's
seasoned Hollywood actor.
Yes, he's a good actor.
Yeah.
Is he great? Is he ever going to win an Oscar? Probably not.
Yeah,
but he's good. And you get a good vibe from him.
Yeah, he almost reminded me of the, who was it? The Matthew Modine character in Stranger Things. You know Matthew Modine, he's been around forever, but he ran the facility. You know, he's got a great head of hair and blonde. Well, it's gray now. But anyway, he was in the last Stranger Things. I think it was 3.
Yeah, I can't really put the face.
But it's almost like he's in that vein of actor. Mm-hmm. Never made like Hollywood top 10 A-list, but has been persistent in Hollywood for 30 years.
Yeah. He was a heartthrob for a long time.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And, but as far as Hanna is concerned, beautifully shot, great score, awesome acting. Where some things kind of fell a little short for me, and I'm not going to spoil anything, is some of they did some stupid things. Like if you're a ruthless organization that is hiring killers and you don't care about these, you're detached from these killers that you're incubating, then if one goes out of line, or say somebody's supporting them or something like that, if you're that ruthless and you're that matter of fact, it's like a bad gear in a machine. You just get rid of it.
Well, yes and no. You're trying to train these girls, and they get into it a little bit in the next episode about the idea of family. They want them
so they can go deep.
So they want them to believe that they're their family. And if they start just getting rid of people that they believe that are already part of the family just because they deem them not worthy, it's going to make the other girls skeptical.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
So, and then Hanna is intriguing to the director, the old guy you just talked about, is because
the Mulroney character,
because he sees her on video and getting into the property, and he's like, "This is what these girls are supposed to be doing."
It's pretty sick, though.
Then they do a training course. Did they get to the training course where she just sort of? No, that's the next episode.
Yeah. What?
They do a capture the flag in teams.
Oh, I saw that. No, that was in 5.
Yeah, I was. She whoops the fucking ass.
Yeah.
And he's intrigued about that.
Yeah.
To a level, there's going to come a point, and I'm not going to spoil it too much, where he'll get to a point where he's just like, I can't deal with this enough. But he's intrigued because he's like, this is what the girls should be. They should be unstoppable fighting machines, but we have the button.
Yes.
The problem with Hanna is there's no button.
Yeah,
but
they did.
Here's my little thing.
Go ahead.
I think there is a button. I think what's her face is playing the long game with the button on Hanna.
Oh, her a sort of maternal figure.
I think she's
character.
more of the handler.
Yeah,
that's what I'm thinking for season 3. That would be a great twist if I was doing it.
If she's just
playing the mother figure, because that's all they're doing to these other girls is playing the mom and dad figure, but through the internet, no face.
Yeah,
she's playing. I believe, which would be cool. And I'm not spoiling anything for this season because I didn't get it. There's nothing I'm spoiling. This is just my belief.
Yeah.
I believe this as I was watching the season. That I believe that because you'll find out, you already might have found out, there's segments in the CIA that's created this.
Yeah.
And they're all under different code names, so nobody knows who's doing stuff over here.
Yeah.
Maybe there's somebody up top that knows everything, but a lot of the other segments don't know what this hand or that hand's doing.
Sure.
So I believe that at some point between when Hanna was a baby getting kidnapped by her dad and reemerging, she approached her boss's boss, said, I can reel her in, but we got to play the long game on this. You know?
That's interesting.
And if it doesn't work, all you do is you're going to lose me and you're going to lose her. It's no big deal. But if it works...
Yeah. She's a great character, by the way.
Oh, yeah. If it works...
Yeah.
You have the ultimate killer.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and that's the thing. That's the thing that's really intriguing. And it's... like
you have the Jason Bourne of the nowadays world.
Yeah. And she is the best of the best.
Oh, yeah. Without a doubt. You saw it in the Kill Game.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? She just...
But she's that good because of Joel Kinnaman's character from the from before, Eric Heinrich or something like that.
Right. And maybe as a CIA agent, what's-her-face realizes what she was. And if she can mold her... I'm just saying, I've this is based on my speculation and guessing, but it's not even anything I know in the upcoming episodes. I just have a feeling that's where it's going because as I know is what's her face's character. I can't remember her name. Hannah's mother,
the Marissa character. Yeah,
Marissa character has made contact. She still works for the CIA, but she didn't know what's his face's boss's name, and that was like the big deal. You know, but she has a boss that she reports to. So I believe that at some point you get up high enough where they report to everybody.
Yeah.
And the guy that she reports to everybody. And I believe that, again, like I'm saying, she made a pitch. It's a win-win for the guy all the way up top. And the only person that had to lose is Hanna and Marissa.
Yeah. Yeah, that could. I mean, it makes sense for them to go into season 3. Obviously, the property is well received because they got the movie. They have, and now they have.
I have to see the movie. I have to watch it.
The movie's good.
Is it good?
Yeah.
Same property, kind of same idea.
It's very much like the first season.
Yeah.
And it's almost 10 years. Well, I don't know when the first season came out, but it's like 8 years later or 7 years later. But definitely worthwhile. I do get a little frustrated with the girls that are being conditioned to be these killers. But I get it, and I think I made this commentary from the first season of Hanna, which is they lean into them being teenage girls.
And they are.
And they're going to be... they're going to have their own issues and insecurities and things like that. And they're going to go back and forth. And I think in a ruthless environment, and maybe I'm just not reading into it enough, but in a ruthless environment, it wouldn't be, I'm just feeling that I need to be upset and frustrated right now, so I'm not going to adhere to the program.
last 3 episodes, brother.
Oh,
It gets
okay.
it sheds a little light on that.
Okay.
It sheds a little light on that. Yeah, I was thinking the same thing as you. I'm thinking the one girl, she's obviously in the women.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
She's 1 minute she likes one book, 1 minute she likes it's all fake. Who gives a shit?
Yeah.
And then the blonde girl's like all about like daddy and
Yeah, like I don't want to hear about the issues.
You know what? It's all I feel like they're just showing you how they mind train these brainwash these young girls into making them believe they're doing the right thing for the right reasons, even though it's wrong.
Yeah, like the one.
So when you get the last 3 episodes, it really they get. I'll just build a little bit. They get put on missions.
Yeah,
2 missions. Well, it's always 2 girls, but they don't. They actually pretend like they don't know each other. Mm-hmm. One goes to Hanna, and another girl, the lesbian girl, goes to London, and the blonde and the black girl go to Barcelona.
Oh, so they legit go on a mission.
There's missions.
Wow.
It starts.
See, that's going to crank it up big time.
That's what I mean. And it does crank it up. And it shows you, I'm not going to spill anything, but it shows you they actually come into situations like you're talking about.
Yeah.
And you're like, well, how's this teenage? She was like an episode ago, she was talking about how this is all fake and how's she going to handle this. And some stuff really surprises you how when it all starts coming down.
Yeah.
When it cuts to the nitty gritty and what they're supposed to be doing, they revert to their training.
That's
very easily.
That's the switch that
exactly. That's where like it ties that bullshit in.
Okay. All right.
And I'm telling you, I like how they tied that in.
Well, it is 9:30 on a Monday night, so I feel like I'm going to get roped into about 3 more hours.
You don't have to tonight, but I definitely think you should finish it in the next day or 2. And I would like to, when you get a chance, give me a click or call or whatever.
I'll definitely tell you what I thought.
I do have some other stuff I'm watching, but we'll get to what you're watching.
So I'm a big fan of, and I'm not shy about
real quick.
Yeah,
Hanna, my second season, 2 thumbs up. Better than the first. 2 thumbs up.
And I've looked, and I did a little poking around of unspoiled reviews, and a lot of people are saying the second season's better than the first, and I would agree with that so far.
Gets even better.
Yeah. So if they're going to send it home hard in the last 3 episodes,
it does a lot of action.
Okay,
and it shows the vulnerability. Why there's the vulnerability of the girls you see now doesn't really show later because it's a build up to molding them
into these killers.
Exactly.
That's awesome. Okay, I'm in. I wasn't not in, but I'm definitely going to give it a go.
Yeah, you were like, it's hard to believe what's going on.
Well, I felt like I had to redeem myself because this is yet another series that you recommended. And I'm like, I got to check this out, man. I respect this guy's opinion, though. I got to definitely give him some.
He doesn't respect me. If he did, he'd watch this shit, right? We all agree there.
We're all on the same page.
We had an applause section. There would be like applause.
Well, we're on the same page as far as Back to the Future or Ghostbusters 2. For sure.
And the last 3 movies of Star Wars that shouldn't not be made.
Exactly.
I do have a theory on that, but we'll talk about it some other time.
Okay. So Justice League Dark Apokolips War. I've been a big fan of what DC has been doing with their animated movies or animated properties.
Yeah, you always talk about it.
And it's been...
And that's where I fall short because I never actually watch them.
Yeah.
And I do want to. I did watch the one Superman where he got too close to the sun and he irradiated himself or something like that. He got too much power.
That's all... Ultimate Superman?
Ultimate Superman, that's it. Yeah. I watched it. It was good.
I probably have that wrong, but I know exactly
DC's cartoons are phenomenal. Their movies suck.
Yeah. Their cartoon properties are, like you said, fantastic. And there has been 2 standout movies that they've done. One, for me, has been Flashpoint Paradox. It was all about Barry Allen. That was my phone. Sorry. It was all about Barry Allen and him changing the course of history by saving his mother, by going back in time, and preventing her death.
Yeah,
and it caused this
the butterfly effect.
Exactly, it caused this ripple that went through and really culminated in the end of the world. And so there's that, and then I think there's a bunch of really good DC properties, but the one that I watched recently, which was this Justice League Dark Apokolips War, is all about Darkseid, right? And it almost felt, and I saw this on the internet.
But you told me, I don't mean to cut you off, but you told me Darkseid, they never really defeat him, but they make an agreement with him at the end or something like that?
Well, I mean,
Devin, correct me if I'm wrong.
I mean, for this, there's been a bunch of depictions of Darkseid in animated features where...
I was talking about the comics.
Well, yes, the first time I got introduced to Darkseid was an actual DC Marvel crossover. And it was I was a kid, but in my mind, it was awesome.
Well, Darkseid has to be, if you really put the two universes together, he has to be like the ultimate baddie.
Yeah, well, he is
even in Marvel.
He's like a new god type of thing.
Not even new god. It's like, can you even defeat him?
Well, that's a good question. I mean, there's been a bunch of times where he's been defeated but not killed.
That's what I mean. Like, is there a way to actually, like Thanos? You can beat that. You can kill Thanos.
Yeah.
Can you actually kill Darkseid?
I'd have to go do my research. I don't know.
Oh, God, you're my comic book guy, dude.
I was a Marvel junkie, man. I was a Marvel zombie, and not so much on the DC side, except for maybe a little Batman. But in Flashpoint Paradox, they got gritty and they got brutal, and they were like, people were getting like straight up murdered.
And that's what it should be.
Yeah.
We're adults growing up in your 80s, 90s.
Yes.
We're adults now. We're not little boys. We're not little kids.
Well, even in the comics, they were dying.
Screw that shit.
Yeah.
About like making a PG. We're not that way anymore.
Yeah, don't round the pointed edges. Don't soften don't soften the curves or anything like that.
And that's why I think they got a little bit right with Justice League with kind of the vulgar content.
Well, I mean, not so much vulgar, but more of like they got a little
plain spoken.
Yes,
like what's his face? Aquaman sitting on the whip, and he's like, "God damn, you're hot."
Well, dude, yeah.
And you see that, like, right there, I love that levity.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Where they misplaced everything. There was plenty of good scenes in that movie.
Yeah.
And one of my top 5 all favorite scenes is the Superman scene where,
yes,
they're all coming at him, 3 of them, and he's just, like, beating them off like no big deal. And then the Flash is trying to go around, and he's like, where the fuck you going?
Yeah.
Again, sorry, cursed. I'm sorry.
That's all right.
But he's like, where you going? His eyes are just like, and the Flash is just like looking at him like, you see me?
So that was always the thing, right? So it was always, and I'm going to spoil some stuff. What I'm going to say first, as far as Justice League Dark Apokolips War, is it's definitely 2 thumbs up. I highly recommend it. I would say,
Spider-Man into the cartoon with the...
Oh, that's another level.
Is it better?
Oh, yeah.
Come on, man. I didn't like that. Level. I thought it was stupid.
Oh, it's fantastic.
But you and John, I'm not a comic book guy. It looks stupid to me.
Well, that's why we have a good show, man, because we have, we're not all just
Spider-Man. There's no
5
other Spider-Mans.
They did it very... So, again, back to this Justice League thing. There's 1 and 2 as far as all the movies that they've done, and I think it's 15 movies, and this is the last of the 15 movies that they've done in DC animation, because they had a let's call it a set list, and they were going to start with this particular movie, and they were going to push it all. And Jeff Johns, who was, I think, chief creative director, really pushed a lot of things that would happen in DC.
So did they end up with Batman versus Darkseid?
In a way, there was, again, I'm going to spoil some shit. Couple of really cool things. So they start out in the beginning with Superman basically stepping up and saying, Darkseid is coming. we need to take the fight to him and be done with him. End him. Like, this is Superman, who's like, he doesn't kill.
Boy Scout, yeah.
He doesn't kill anybody, but he's like, we need to end this dude. Like, destroy him.
Yeah, but that's the problem. Can you end him?
Well, they have Batman as the ultimate,
Detective,
tactician, strategy guy.
I get it, but at some point, it's like you're going to have to do your research on Darkseid himself.
Well, they know everything. They think they know everything they need to know.
Yeah, but not everything's going to be on Earth, brother.
So they want to go to Apokolips, Darkseid's homeworld, and take the fight to him. They can rip through parademons like they're Swiss cheese, right? But Darkseid basically hacks into Cyborg as this plan is being hatched. Spoilers.
And takes over Cyborg.
And doesn't even take over him. He just eavesdrops on the conversation of the planning.
That's how wiretaps him.
Exactly. And so what he does in the interim, and again, spoilers, what he does in the interim is that he takes the parademons and splices their DNA with Doomsday.
Ooh.
So he makes these things called paradooms.
Yeah.
Right? And so the strength of the thing that killed Superman is now in thousands of parademons.
You can't win against that.
They demolish them. They demolish the Justice League in a brutal way. I mean, rip limbs apart, just straight up murdering people, just killing them. Like,
so who dies?
Well, a ton of people die.
But
right?
do any of the main Justice League guys die?
So, again, spoilers. Highly recommend, if you want to see this, stop now.
Hey, come on.
Stop now. I want to be courteous. Stop now, go watch it, and then come back and listen. In the beginning, you're like, Wonder Woman, dead. Hawkman, dead.
Get Wonder Woman?
Martian Manhunter, dead. You're like, all these people getting killed left and right. I mean, like, dead. Like, when you see their arms come apart and they're just like, oh, you're dead.
Yeah.
That's it. And so then they flash forward to 2 years later, and the Earth has been overrun, and it's now part of Darkseid's empire.
Where's Superman?
Well, they capture Superman instead of killing him.
Because you can. It's hard to kill him.
Dude, he gives him a kryptonite inked tattoo of an S, like laser etched into his flesh, into his chest, and turns him basically with that amount of kryptonite embedded in his skin. He's almost mortal. And so he's like, I'm not going to kill you. I'm going to put you as an example to say, this is your world's mightiest hero or greatest hero. And I just tattooed him like a bitch. And so any of you guys on this planet, this shithole planet of Earth, he's this Darkseid. That's what I did to him. Imagine what I would do to you.
So they all bow to his will.
Exactly. So then, of course, it shifts perspective. And here's
Batman.
Well, Batman has been abducted, and now he's been brainwashed to be Apokolips's basically main strategist.
Oh, so he's like the SS officer.
Exactly. He's the Goebbels or the whatever.
He's like, I want you to enslave that population.
Yes,
get it done.
Exactly. He's his acolyte or his herald. And
so, how does this flip? Or it doesn't?
Are you going to watch it? You should watch it. Spend $6, you cheap bastard, and watch it.
I'll spend $6 on a beer. I don't know about Come on, man. All right, fine.
All right. I'll spill the beans. So it really centers around.
No. I'm going to watch it. All
right.
No. Tell me. I'm watching.
The one thing that might be a little off-putting is that it doesn't center around the main Justice League heroes. You know, it goes to these.
Like Swamp Thing?
There's Swamp Thing. There's Constantine. There's.
And they're the guys that are heroes in this?
Yeah, but and then Superman comes in.
Well, of course he does. It's fucking.
But he's.
Damn it! I said it again.
But he's Superman. It's not super.
But he does at the end.
He's weakened.
He does at the end.
I'm not telling you shit.
He does it. Come on. We all know.
It is very clever.
They figure out a way to get his powers back.
It is very clever.
All right. I'm going to get it. You got my hyped up. And I will, unlike you, watch this shit.
Your word is your bond. I understand that. But it's really good.
All right.
But I would definitely rate, if you're going to get into some of the DC properties for the animated features, it's Flashpoint Paradox is the absolute number one in my book. And then I would see this as a close second.
All right. I'll watch this.
For sure.
So you said it's on Amazon Prime?
It's on Amazon Prime.
My boys go to bed tomorrow.
Yeah.
My wife will get an email because she has Amazon Prime.
So what are you watching?
I got something else. I got two things, but one that's really, really good. One I just started, kind of cheesy. Perry Mason, man.
Oh,
so good. It's a little really, really dark.
HBO, right?
HBO. It's a mini series. I don't think it's a series.
How many episodes do you know?
I think it's going to be 8. There's only 3 into it. Perry Mason, for those who don't know, was a regular black and white series in the
attorney, right?
Yeah, he's an attorney, 1950s, 1960s.
Yeah.
And he barely loses a case. He was phenomenal, being able to pick up almost like a Sherlock Holmes of an attorney.
Gotcha.
To pick up on the little twists. So what they did in HBO was, obviously, he's the attorney, but they went farther back than that. What was he before he was an attorney? He was a private investigator.
Yes.
He was drunk, had a kid outside marriage, doesn't live with him.
He doesn't have his act together.
No, he doesn't.
Kind of reminded me of Chinatown with Jack Nicholson, the way you were proposing it.
Yes. He has PTSD from World War One. Mm-hmm. He did something in World War One that got him dishonorably discharged. Wasn't horrible. When you see what he did, you understand, but I can understand why they would dishonorably discharge him too, at the same respect. It's all about this murder, kidnapping / murder that happens to a baby, and it's really hard R, man. They didn't go because it was Perry Mason, and you're going to Google Perry Mason right now.
Yeah.
No, I mean it's hard R. There's a lot of good actors in it. The guy, Third Rock from the Sun, that played the dad,
John Lithgow.
John Lithgow's in it. Plays an attorney.
Good.
The guy who played Office Space, the Stapler.
Milton.
He plays another attorney in it. There's a black cop. I don't know his name or anything he's been in off the top of my head, but I know he's a good actor. You remember? Do you remember the movie with Limitless?
Yeah,
the Russian. Remember, the Russian tries to kill him in his hotel room.
Yes,
he's in it.
Is he Russian?
He's not Russian in that, but not Russian in this.
I always wondered. I knew he played that. Is it just an English actor or an American actor that plays?
He plays an American in this, but yeah. He's must have been English, Russian, whatever.
Yeah,
but he plays a cop in this, a cop on the take, and it's just so good. The storyline. I mean, I don't know where they're going with it. Obviously, you're getting to the point where Perry Mason's going to start realizing that he'd be better as a lawyer than a private investigator, but he's a damn good private investigator. He's just having a messed up life, dude.
Sure.
And it's phenomenal, man. I just think the writing, if it keeps going on a trend I think it's going, it's a little confusing because they got a religious aspect hidden in it. Mm-hmm. But it's really well done.
All right. You're leading me down the path again.
You might want to wait until it's completely done because I think it's more of a binge-worthy type thing because these weeks waiting kind of pissed me off because it's all right, every week there's a new clue that's coming up. There's something coming up.
That's right. It's HBO, so they're doing weekly episodes.
But it's only going to be an 8-episode thing like Hanna, but it's very well done. The guy that plays Perry Mason is the guy that was the reporter in It's a Wonderful Life.
Yes. Oh no, is the reporter not It's a Wonderful Life?
Not a Wonderful Life. Good neighborhood.
Yeah. It's a wonderful, beautiful day in a neighborhood.
Beautiful. He's the reporter.
Fred Rogers thing. Yeah,
right. And he does.
Yes, that's right. I didn't make that connection.
This guy is phenomenal actor. I wish I knew his name.
Matthew Rhys.
Matthew Rhys is phenomenal. I watched both. He was great in that. But he got overshadowed by Tom Hanks.
Tom Hanks, yeah.
Because he played Tom Hanks, was awesome in that.
Yeah.
But this is, if anybody knows anything about Perry Mason, even if you don't, you'll still appreciate this because it's just a unique storyline. But if you know anything about Perry Mason, this is a phenomenal storyline.
Yeah.
Just how they're playing it out, how dark it is. You know what I mean? They don't hold back on anything, language, and it's tasteful. Like the very first episode, Perry Mason and his right-hand man are tasked to track down this one big fat guy. He's supposedly having a marital affair. Well, they track this guy down, and apparently this big fat guy, they track him down. It's not like you can stake out somebody's house to get pictures and like get infrared or whatever, get sound, audio like you can now.
It's old school shit. It's the 30s.
He had to break it, not 30s, 20s, brother.
Oh, holy shit.
He had to break into this person's home, late 20s. He had to break into this person's home. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So I didn't break into this person and take pictures as this big fat guy's getting laid. He was getting laid by a Hollywood starlet.
Oh, like Starlet.
Sorry.
Yeah.
So when he produced these images back to the person that asked him to take these pictures, the guy had a contract with the Starlet's company to keep her out of trouble. So it was funny. Like the guy, like they took the pictures, and the fat guy's running down the street, butt naked, balls hanging out. It's like, it's hilarious. But then I guess it gets Perry Mason into some trouble.
Yeah,
Hollywood moguls at that time, you know.
He's doing his job.
He's doing his job, and he's trying to shake down a Hollywood mogul, and he gets his ass kicked. He gets messed up. He's thinking he's going to get a big payday.
Dude, is that when he gets the hot gun barrel pushed into his chest?
Yes.
Okay.
You saw that part?
That was a trailer, yeah.
Yeah. That's when he got a hot, because he thought he was shaking down a Hollywood starlet's
management company or whatever.
Whatever. And he's like, yeah, you know, because first they were like, here's $250 for your troubles. And he's like, no, I know who this girl is. I can get more for this.
Yeah. So he's a little seedy.
Oh.
He's a little dirty. He's not the Raymond Burr.
Exactly. That's the point. Yeah. And then you find out he goes back after that night. He gets wasted at his place. Yeah. He's like, I love it. There's this Mexican pilot or whatever that owns this pilot company that, you know, she sees him. But right before she sees him, he calls home because he gets his package delivered back to him. He opens it up. It's a fire truck that he tried to deliver home to his son, and he tried calling his ex-girlfriend or whoever he had the kid with, and she would not put the kid on the phone. He was wasted.
Oh, so he was kind of like derelict dad, trying to do the right thing.
Exactly.
Give the kid a gift.
To your point, it's very seedy. There's a lot there they're digging into. They're not making it PG. They're, like I said, it's
man.
Very good writing. Now, if they tie it all together, it could be great writing. It all depends on where they go with it.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of intrigue. There's a lot of backstory. I don't want to get into it. There's more to the death, the kidnapping and the death of this kid. That it's like a huge cover up.
Yeah.
So, and they go into the black, white thing. They even use the N word. They don't care.
Yeah.
It's very for the times. Mm-hmm. I think it's phenomenal.
You just reminded me of something, and I'm all in, man. It's going to be
we'll see. We'll see. Next time we do the podcast in 2 months, like, John, how was Perry Mason? I was going to get to that, Nick.
Well, you know, there was a cure, and Black Widow came up, and next thing you know, they opened the theaters, and you know, Perry Mason wasn't a thing anymore. No, I'm glad they're taking that sort of seedy underbelly type of look.
It's really good. Highly, highly recommend it.
Good.
I just wish it was binge worthy because it's.
Well, I mean, how many episodes are they into so far?
3. There's 8.
So I can at least. And when do they come out?
Every Sunday.
Every Sunday. So there's one waiting for you, or did you watch it already?
I watched it today.
Oh, okay. So you're up to date 3.
I'm up to date 3.
Okay. So I gotta now. I can at least binge 3. Yeah. So that's awesome. And Nicholas, we're gonna call it a night. I thought we talked about some really great stuff. So what I want to do is thank you everybody for joining us for this week's episode of the Nick, John, and Jamie show. You can absolutely positively subscribe and like and do all those social media type things if you're digging the show. And last but not least, have an awesome week.